Hey, Dr. McLain, this former EPA employee very much appreciates the work you do. I understand you probably don't know the details of every bit of proposed legislation, and I appreciate you being here today to tell us your perspectives in general from your position with respect to drinking water. And I thank you for that, and I know you'll get back to the committee if they have additional questions. I have some questions about resiliency. In California, we're facing several simultaneous threats. Droughts are getting more severe, snowpack levels are decreasing, temperatures are rising, wildfires are getting more intense. We're on the front lines of the climate crisis, and for many people in California and many Americans, climate stress is often felt as water stress. According to the 2020 UN Water Development Report, climate change will lead to further water stress in regions across the globe, negatively affect water quality, and threaten safely managed water and sanitation infrastructure. My questions for you are, what steps is the agency taking to predict general water availability in the future, considering increasingly severe drought from climate change?
Thank you for the question. We work closely with other federal agencies on data on climate-driven impacts to our water, and as you mentioned, there can be significant impacts both on the quality and on the quantity of the water that we know we're experiencing. And we
right. So you'll work with other agencies, but how are we going to ensure, working with EPA, that our water infrastructure is resilient to climate impacts? Specifically, is EPA or is someone devoting resources to modeling to ensure our water is safe as climate impacts increase?
Yes, we are working very hard to understand the climate impacts that our water utilities face, and we have a lot of guidance in addressing drought as well as floods, because the resiliency, there's also issues with too much water, too little water. Right. There are a number of resiliency.
If I wanted to talk to the person in the federal government who is in charge of the modeling to understand what changes we're going to face as a nation, also geographically, who would I talk to? Is that in your department or is that someone else? Is that in another department you're working with?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is in other parts of the EPA as well as in other agencies in the federal government. It's a collaborative effort, and we'd be happy to get back to you with more specific information on the modeling that you're looking for.
I would like to understand that. My concern is that if everyone's doing it, no one's doing it. And so I would expect you to know that today, but I would like to know who's responsible for modeling that so that the federal government is making sure that we're providing localities with this information, but also that we're aware as a nation of what's going on. So I appreciate you getting back to me on that. In San Diego, we have a serious water supply issue, and one promising solution is to significantly increase the amount of recycled water, including black water. San Diego is currently implementing the Pure Water program, which aims to use proven water recycling and reuse technology. We're going to produce 83 million gallons of purified drinking water per day rather than discharging usable fresh water into the ocean. My question for you is, how could EPA provide incentives, or do these incentives exist, to other coastal and riverine communities to invest in aggressive water recycling, including black water recycling?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, water reuse is an important tool that's available to utilities, and EPA provides information to utilities and works with states to help utilities assess some of these technologies. And we have financing tools, as you are aware of, that are available to help support the investment in those technologies if systems choose to implement them.
Can you briefly describe for me what those financing tools are that exist today and whether we need more, if you have an opinion on that?
Mm-hmm. Our existing tools right now that are the state revolving funds. We have a clean water and a drinking water state revolving fund, which both come into play here with the reuse technologies that you're talking about, as well as the Water Infrastructure Improvement Act loan program, which is an important resource for low interest financing. And we have a number of grant programs available from the EPA, but we have
Just
no
let me,
financing tools.
I'm running out of time, Dr. McLean, but do you think we're sufficiently resourced to support the needs around the country, or do we need more resources?
The infrastructure needs across the country are great. For drinking water alone, we estimate over $470 billion need.